Friends, tonight is Hoshana Rabbah, the last night of the holiday of Sukkot, and I wanted to discuss a very important halachic question that comes up, and it comes up in a very unique way this year. I'll speak about it. The question is, are you allowed to dismantle your sukkah on Sukkot? And the other part of the question is, are you allowed to remove decorations on Sukkot? Now, it's important to note that this is not just someone wanting to take down their sukkah on Sukkot, which you can't do. This came up especially this year. There's a big northeastern storm, and the question is: if you have another day or two to Sukkot, like we have, it's Hoshana Rabbah now, and there's a storm, so you know you will not be able to sit in the sukkah in the next 2 days. Can you dismantle your sukkah, especially in a circumstance where you're concerned the storm will completely take your sukkah apart, you're going to lose your sukkah? That's the question. So I just want to go over that. It's not a simple question at all, as you would think. The Gemara actually says that the decorations of the sukkah are muksa. You're not allowed to touch them. And we're going to talk a little bit about that. We're going to talk about the decorations. And so this year, I sent this question to Rabbi Rimon, Yosef Tzvi Rimon. He's the chief rabbi of Gush Etzion. And I want to read through his answer, and then I'm going to quote some other opinions. So the question I sent him was basically, by the way, I wasn't the only one who sent it. Other people sent it as well. The question was, can you dismantle your sukkah this year if you're afraid that the storm is going to take it down? You're not going to sit in the sukkah anyways because there's a storm. So here's what he wrote. He says the following. He quotes the Mishnah. The Mishnah says in Sukkah, Daf Memchet, that if you finished eating on the 7th day of Sukkot on Hoshana Rabbah, you cannot dismantle your sukkah. You can't do anything with your sukkah until after the holiday. To quote exactly the words, it says as follows. It says, Sukkah Shiva Ketzad, how do you do the mitzvah of Sukkah 7 days? Gamar mile'echol lo yatir et sukkato. If you finish eating, you should not remove your sukkah. Aval morid et hakelim min hamincha u'lemala. You can remove the dishes out of your sukkah from the afternoon and on, mipnei kvod yom tov ha'achron shel Chag, because you need those dishes for the last day of Chag, for Shmini Atzeret. So technically speaking, it's very clear that you cannot remove your sukkah, and it has to remain there until after Shmini Atzeret, until after the holiday. Now, the Gemara says, what's the reason for this? There's two reasons given in the Gemara. One is, this is on Sukkah Chav Zayin, one is because the sukkah has to be a sukkah that's ready to be there for 7 days, Sukkah HaRe'uya L'Sheva. And the other is that it has to, halachically speaking, we say that if you built a sukkah on Chol HaMoed, it's still kosher, it doesn't have to be there for 7 days. And therefore, the Shulchan Aruch, Siman Taf Reish Lamed Zayin, says the reason you cannot dismantle your sukkah on Sukkot, especially since we follow the opinion of Chachamim that it doesn't have to be there the entire 7 days. So the reason is that the sukkah is muktzah. And that's what it says in the Gemara, that's what it says in the Rambam. And to quote exactly, Atzei HaSukkah, Asurin Kol Shmonat Yemei HaChag, Bein Atzei Dfanos, Bein Atzei Eschach. That's a very strong language. So the Atzei Dfanos, the walls of the sukkah, and the schach are Asurin Kol Shiva. You can't use them all 7 days. And that's forbidden and true both for the schach and for the walls of the sukkah. So that's the basic, that's the way it's in Shulchan Aruch. So simply put, no, you cannot remove your sukkah, you cannot remove your defanos. It's considered muksa. However, if you're taking it down, not just because by the way, it should be noted that if it's a sukkah that's meant to be put up and down, like the travel sukkahs, you are allowed to do that on the Chag. But Rav Shlomo Zalman Auerbach writes regarding decorations of the sukkah, which are also muktzah. It says that you only can take them down if you want to use them for something. But if you're taking them down because you're afraid that they will be ruined, then you for sure you are able to do it. So that's one very important point. If you follow that logic of Rav Shlomo Zalman Auerbach, that the muksa definition that the sukkah decorations, the dfanos, the schach have, it's only muksa in the sense that you can't use it for something else, but you may be able to take it down just for its own sake. Then you would be allowed maybe to do that with the defanos and the schach. Now, I should note, just my own thought, that really is said only with regard to the decorations. Rav Shlomo Zalman Auerbach said that only about decorations, which is not nearly as strict as the schach. So that's but it's a important. It's an important ruling, and Rav Rimon notes, he quotes a bunch of other shalos and chuvas lahoros nosan, Rav Yaakov Ariel, that the muksa prohibition is not as strict as you would think it is, and he quotes the Mishnah Brura, Rabbi Yisrael Meir Pupko from Radin. He says, "Afal pi shegamar milechol beyom." He's quoting first the Shulchan Aruch. "Afal pi shegamar milechol beyom hashvi shachris lo yistor sukkah." So even when you finish eating on the morning of Hoshana Rabbah, you know you're not going to sit in the sukkah again. Nonetheless, once the afternoon hits and you need your dishes to prepare your Shmini Atzeret meal, this is in Israel, where you don't have to sit in the sukkah on Shmini Atzeret, then you should not take down your sukkah. And the Mishnah Berurah says, what's the reason? All day you have to sit and learn in the sukkah, not just your breakfast. And therefore, if you take down this sukkah, you won't be able to fulfill this mitzvah. If you suddenly are going to want to eat, you're going to want to eat in it. So Rav Rimon says, clearly the Mishnah Berurah is not taking the side that you should not take your sukkah down because of muksa, and therefore, and he's only concerned pragmatically, if you take your sukkah down, where you're going to eat. Therefore, he doesn't see this muksa as a prohibition to take it down, as much as you just can't use it for something else, the same way Rav Shlomo Zalman Auerbach also says about decorations. So, bottom line is, if you're in a situation where there is no way there's no chance you're going to sit in your sukkah, then you can take it down, like if there's a storm. Now, I should note just a practical idea that, for example, in my case of a storm, they said there's going to be a storm, but I look outside right now and guess what? The rain stopped. So if I want to eat bread right now, I do have to go in the sukkah. Yes, there's some drops, but I have to go in the sukkah. So when you say, okay, I'm going to take it down because there's no chance I'm going to sit in it again, hold your thoughts there, because it may stop raining for 3-4 hours. These things happen. And in that case, you're going to need a sukkah and you should not take it down. So, just to quote Rabbi Rimon's psak, he writes, "Lachen lemaseh lechatchila barur shemefarkim et hasukah lachar hachag." For sure, you should take your sukkah down only after the chag. Ulam, im yeshnam geshamim, if there is rain, veyesh chashash hasukah tipaga, you have a concern that your sukkah is going to be damaged. Yesh siba tova lefarek et hasukah b'chol hamoed. You can take the sukkah down on chol hamoed. Ksheyodea, only when you know shebevadai yerdu geshamim velo yishtamesh yoter basukah, that for sure you're not going to use your sukkah again. So even when he is going on this lenient side, you can see he's very uncomfortable with it. It's not for sure, because how are you to be certain that you're not going to need your sukkah again? Not a simple heter. Rav Shlomo Zalman Auerbach is very confident about decorations. If you're going to take decorations down so they don't get ruined, go do it. But the defanos, the walls, and definitely the schach, that is not something that it's easy to find the heter. If you live in like Florida, where there might be a hurricane that takes your sukkah into the ocean, yeah, you should take it down. If there's like a hurricane that like it's either you take the sukkah down or it's going to be gone, then you should take it down. I should note that I asked the same question to Rabbi Nathanael Wiederblank, who's posek in NYU. He's like, yeah, if there's a storm like today, and he's in the same northeast weather as I am, then yeah, you could take your sukkah down. That's what he said. And others are saying also, if it's a davar of it, yes. But the bottom line is, if you want to take your sukkah down on Sukkot, not an easy answer. If you want to take down the decorations to preserve them, for sure you have who to rely on. I'll give you my personal advice. If you have defanos, if you have walls that have zippers and doors and all kinds of things, if you want to storm-proof them and open them so that if the wind comes, it doesn't carry your sukkah away, but it blows through the defanos, that would be my advice to you. But a lot to explore here on the sugya, on the discussion of whether you can take down your sukkah on Sukkot, So make sure whoever you are, you follow. You can follow Rabbi Rimon, who said that if for sure there's no chance you're going to sit again in the sukkah, in that sukkah on Sukkot, you can take it down. Chag Sameach.